Well, thank you, Diego, and thank you for inviting us to this webinar where we are going to be talking, as Diego said, about developing a business plan using some of the tools that we have available, specifically AgPlan, which is a tool that we've developed actually here at the Center for Farm Financial Management. But before I actually get going, I do have Mariah Beverly, who is with me here at the Center for Farm Financial Management. She's another economist that we have here at the center. And let me actually just go ahead and put my picture back up there. So I'm Curtis Monken. I am an economist here at the Center for Farm Financial Management. We have been a center here at the University of Minnesota, which is where we're actually based out of since the mid 1980s. I think we're getting ready to celebrate our 40th anniversary here coming up before too much longer. But we've been doing farm financial management topics for years, even beyond that. And one of our flagship programs that we actually have is a program called FinPack, which is a farm financial planning tool that is really our flagship. But as we have gone on and throughout the life of the center, we've developed other tools called AgPlan. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the presentation here, just because we do have a couple really good tools for you. Let me actually take that picture so you can see my nice real estate photo. As I mentioned, I'm part of the Center for Farm Financial Management here at the University of Minnesota. We are within the Department of Applied Economics here at the College of Food, Ag, and Natural Resource Sciences. We've been proud to be working with the Farmer Veteran Coalition for a few years now on other programs that you might have seen, or maybe you've heard me talk about in the Farmer Veteran Coalition podcast that was shared a couple months ago now. But like I said, the Center for Farm Financial Management has been at the University of Minnesota for nearly 40 years. And just doing lots of tools. What we actually do is we develop tools to help producers be able to manage their farm better and be able to make better decisions on the farm financial management topics. So today, just in talking about a business plan, we actually kind of break this down into two parts. We really do focus on why we develop a plan and then how we develop that plan. And really, as we get into these two topics, these are really important questions. You don't want to just create a business plan because some random guy on a webinar once said that you should develop a business plan. We want you to develop it, but then also make it your own and make it something that you can take and then use in your farming career. So let's start with a very basic question of what is a business plan? As you can see on the screen, it's a formal statement of business goals, the reasons why you believe they're attainable, and the plan for reaching those goals. But really what a business plan is it's taking all of your thoughts and all of your ideas for your business and then putting them into a digestible format for people that are outside of your own head in a lot of cases. I grew up on a dairy farm in the southern part of Illinois, and we would talk. My dad, my brother, and I, we'd be milking cows down in the parlor, and we would actually be talking about the different things that we wanted to do on the farm, the goals that we had. And then we talk about how could we make that. And so we have all of those things just kind of rattling around in our heads, but we never actually put them to paper. And that's what a business plan really helps you do. So in thinking about who needs a business plan then, well, any business is going to see some type of benefit. And I'll explain why in just a little bit. But for a business that is maybe they're new, maybe you're expanding, maybe you're making major changes. Again, coming from a dairy farm myself, my brother is looking at putting in some different milking equipment. He's wanting to expand. So for him, those first two are pretty legit for what he is actually doing with his business. But If you are also doing maybe some creative, some niche markets, value added or alternative types of enterprises, maybe you're going into organic production and you're in an area where there's not a lot of organic production, a business plan is really going to be beneficial for helping people, again, outside of your own circle, understand why this is a good idea and maybe even invest in your business. So the purpose, as I've kind of been saying, it's demonstrating that you've taken the time to think through each and every aspect of your business, from what you create to how you create it, to who's going to create it, to how you're going to finance it and how you're going to sell it. Those are all things that you're going to need to think about when you are working on your business plan. And that's what a business plan, what its purpose truly is. It's demonstrating that you've taken all of that time to think through all of that and then put that into your own words. It helps you effectively communicate your business to lenders, to other investors, potential investors that are outside, other partners that you have. But this bottom statement where it says internally to family members and employees, that is incredibly important. In particular, as you are thinking about risk management. If something were to happen to me, if I have all of what I'm doing, if I have all of my notes in this PowerPoint, and then something happened to me, Mariah could take this up and make this her own and be able to continue on with what I'm doing. And that's what a business plan, again, effectively helping you communicate your business to people, both externally and internally. It helps you explain why you stand out from the crowd and what you're doing a little bit differently. And most importantly, and this is why we really do think that any business is going to benefit from a business plan, but it's going to help you improve the management of your business. It's the blueprint for operating your business. It's your operational guide. As you enter everything into your business plan, again, you're thinking through all of the aspects of your business, how you produce what you produce, who is producing what you produce, how you're going to sell it. You're thinking through all of those things. And then as you write them down, you're improving the management because now you're having to explain why you're doing things. Or you might discover something as you're writing it. You're like, you know what, that doesn't make any sense. Let me rethink this. It helps you to just check yourself as you are going through it and not just doing things because this is the way that we've always done them. It also helps you come back and serve as your operational guide. I can give you examples just within our own center here at the University of Minnesota where projects have come to us and we've actually gone back and we've compared what those projects are, who the audience is. And there have been a couple times where we've had to say, you know what, that project just doesn't fit the audience that we are reaching. It doesn't fit our skill set. It doesn't fit something based on our business plan. So we've actually turned that down. And so we've actually been able to strengthen the core of what we do here at the Center for Farm Financial Management because we regularly review our business plan. So let me take my picture off the screen here for this slide, but some lessons that we've learned. It can be very time consuming. As you're thinking through each of those aspects of the business, it's very time consuming because you're thinking through each of the aspects of the business. You want to make sure that you're giving each of those aspects the correct amount of respect. You don't just put the numbers together with your financial statements and hand them over. So it can be very time consuming. It can be very expensive. If I skip over that middle one, it can be very expensive because as you're writing somebody or as you're paying somebody else to write your business plan, they're not necessarily writing it in your own words, but think about the amount of time that it would have taken you to think through all of those aspects of your business. Now someone else is doing that. And so now you're paying that hourly rate for someone else to write what your business plan is. But the other lesson that we've learned is that it's best done by the owner or the manager. And again, if I were to go back to the previous screen where we're talking about how it's your operational guide, as you are explaining why you're doing what you're doing, how you're doing what you're doing, how you're marketing, you're explaining that in your own words to someone who is outside. And if you are hiring someone to write that for you, they're not necessarily getting all of those nuances for why you're doing what you're doing and what your goals and your mission statement is. So it can be very expensive. It can be very time consuming, but it's best done by the owner or manager. And we honestly do truly believe this last line of your business plan should be a living document. We want you to revisit and revise it at least annually. In some cases, as you're just getting started with your business, you might revisit that more often than that, but it should be a living document, not something that you just write and then put into the drawer for a little bit later. And as you're planning for the future, and I don't know how many of you are new or beginning farmers, or maybe you're just thinking about getting started, you really should use your plan and update it frequently as you move along in your farming journey. So, okay, so that's why. Let's talk about how you are going to create your business plan. So there are really 4 major functions of management if you think about it. There's the production, so what you're producing and how you're producing it. Then there's the marketing, how you're going to sell it, the personnel, who's going to be producing that, who's managing the business, and then ultimately everything is going to then flow into the financial section where what you're selling, that's coming in, who you're paying, how you're producing it, all of that is eventually going to flow into the financial section. So those are the 4 major functions of management. Well, it should be no surprise then. So as you are thinking about how to write your business plan, you should include those sections as you write your business plan. You should talk about the operations, the production side, the marketing side, the personnel, the financial. And then we've also added a couple sections here, the executive summary, which is just summarizing everything else that's in the plan, but also in the business description, tell us where you're doing business. Tell us about some of the equipment. Those are the types of things that you're going to actually want to put into some of those sections. So as you are, again, developing that business plan, most people are going to use some type of business planning software. If you just sat down and you tried to do this on your own, you'd probably get stuck. You might be able to write about what you're producing and why you're doing it, but once you get into the financial part, the licensing part, a lot of those other details, you might miss something because you just aren't thinking about it. So a good software is going to have some outlines, maybe some suggestions on content, or even some sample plans. And that's where AgPlan comes in. AgPlan, you can actually find it agplan.umn.edu. I'm sure someone will put this in the chat as I go along here, just so that you can go there and you can look. AgPlan is completely free for you to actually go and create a business plan. There have been on the screen, I think it says over 100,000. I think that's not up to date. I think it's over 110,000 business plans that have been created using AgPlan. And we say that they've been created because we don't know how many have been finished. Again, if it's a living document, it should never truly be finished. So how many business plans have been created using AgPlan. So before I go and do an actual live demo of AgPlan, just because I want to show you how easy it is to get into AgPlan and play around with it and actually create your own business plans, let's talk about the types of plans that are available in AgPlan. So these are all the types of plans that we actually have: commodity, value added, organic transition, short-term operator plan, personal plan, small business. And then if you are a commercial fisher, we do have a separate website which does the same things. It's just that's actually at fishbizplan.org. But we're going to talk about AgPlan in this one. So first, commodity. This is you would use this plan type if you are going to, if you're just not really doing a lot when it comes to marketing. So again, my brother, he's not He's not doing anything special. He's just milking the cows and selling it to the cooperative. So he would actually benefit from a commodity type of plan. But if he was doing anything with it, like taking his milk and then turning it into ice cream, I would actually tell him to go look at a value added plan type, because there are some additional sections that come in with that, in particular, as you're thinking about target markets, how you're going to price your product, those types of things. If you are transitioning into organic, we have a specific plan type for that, where you are given some tips and some resources specifically for writing about how you're transitioning from conventional to organic. This is the newest plan type that we actually have. It's the short-term operator plan. This is if the business is already kind of up and running, and as the picture shows, if someone were to have to leave for active duty, or there's some type of short term where they're not going to be around, the short-term operator plan, really what this plan helps you do is line everything up and, again, kind of highlight why or what needs to be done in the next 6 months or year, or however long that short term is. We also have a personal plan. This is a personal career plan, again, with tips and resources that are specific to writing a personal career plan. And then if you're not in agriculture at all, that's okay. We have a business plan type for you, the small business plan type, which again is going to have some different sections in it. Again, target market, pricing, licenses, things like that. So let's actually just jump over to AgPlan at this point, and I'm just going to show you how all of this works. So again, I've gone to agplan.umn.edu. So I do see that Diego has added that link in the chat. Feel free to click on it. AgPlan is completely free again. If you have not created an account yet, you're going to need to click on that register today button, and then just enter your email address, your first name, last name, and then you do need to create your own password. So just be sure that the minimum characters there is 6. You just need to have 6 characters, but also be sure that you're using strong password characteristics so that you can make sure that your password or your AgPlan is safe and secure. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've created my account. I'm going to now sign in, which will take me into the My Plan section of AgPlan. And I do a lot of training on AgPlan, so you'll see a lot of business plans that I've actually created. And we're going to just ignore that button there. But as we come in, again, I have all of my plans listed here, so you can actually see them as we go down the screen. I can add reviewers. I can look at some tools and settings. And then down below, I actually have, and I'm not going to show you that because, again, I have live data there, but we can actually show the plans that you were added as a reviewer. So let's actually just go ahead and start a new plan here just to show. So we're going to click on Start a New Plan. And now we select from those plan types that I was just talking about. So I'm going to choose Ag Value Added in this case. And then we just need to give it a name for the plan. So let's say FBC Webinar Demo. And then I can change a few things. Now I'm going to click Create Plan. Once I do that, that will take me back to the My Plans page that we were just looking at. And once this takes me back there, instead of actually going in and looking at that plan in particular, I'm going to go down to Copy of Lakeshore Orchard here and click on View Plan, because that one's pre-baked, if you will. We already have some information that is in, so I'm going to hit Collapse here. So again, now that I'm in AgPlan, over on the left-hand side, these are those sections that we were just talking about. All of the major sections of management: operations, marketing, management, so that's personnel, and then the financial plan. So those are all the sections. And then if I hit expand here, this will expand that entire list. And now there's subsections beneath all of those. So again, like for example, under business description, talking about business overview, location, business history, what's the ownership structure? Under operations, you're talking about licenses. Do you have any patents or trademarks? Under marketing, how you sell all of your product. How are you going to promote it, distribute it? Management and organization. Do you have a management team, or who's going to be doing all of that work? And then the financial plan. So if I scroll all the way back up, and sorry to make you seasick as I move along here, but let's actually just go down into the business summary. And anywhere that the text looks a little blue here, that means that there's data behind this. But as I come into this, as it says in the box, this is a text editing box. So it's just like Microsoft Word, where you can go in and you can write whatever you need to. In particular, you can, if we wanted to make that text a little bigger, so let's make that maybe more like a 32. And let's change the text color to red. So you can do whatever you need to do here. You can also add pictures. So you can see that we've done that here. So on the cover page, if you have a logo for your farm, that would be great to add into that cover page so that you can add that in. But then you can do whatever else you need to do here. As you move along, then, if I just go down, let's actually go down to, under the tips, these tabs that are right across the bottom here, these are tips for whatever section that you're working on. So in this case, we're looking at tips for what do you put in the business summary. The next one, resources. These are resources, again, specific to whatever section that you're on. So how do you write a business plan, et cetera. Let me actually just show you how those are specific. If I go down to financial position then, and then scroll back up, you can see that the resources then change. So there's some financial spreadsheets that are here. The next is the sample. So if I go into Lakeshore Orchard, this gives you an example of what do you want to include here. So in this particular section, we're looking at the financial position. So this would be a balance sheet. So we would go in and we would actually enter what our balance sheet is. Or maybe we say, go take a look at the attachments. And I'll show you where we can add attachments here in a minute. We can also add comments. So you can see that in particular, I've used this section a lot whenever I train. So we can just add comments to go in here, and just whether it's a reminder, maybe it's another comment to a reviewer, but I'm going to click add comments. And now I'm going to say updated for 2023 in the attachments. And it would help if I could spell. And then I just click insert comment. And then that adds that to the list. One of the other powerful things that we can do with AgPlan is add reviewers. So in this case, I've added several reviewers, including Mariah here. So I can check next to her name. Let's actually go ahead and let's email a couple people from our office here. And now I can just enter the message and say, can you verify these numbers are correct? And then I can either include the comments. So in this case, let's do that. And I can send it to as many or as few as I want to here, but I'm going to click send. And then this will actually send Mariah and everybody else an email. And I will probably get a few confused emails from our coworkers saying, what in the world is this? But that's how you can actually email reviewers from within AgPlan itself. So if you actually have some partners, some external investors, some partners, maybe it's your family members, you want them to go review, you can add them as a reviewer, and then they can actually come in, they can add, you can give them edit access, they can just read whatever it is. So those are all the tabs across the bottom. Let's talk about the buttons that are over on the right-hand side. And I'm going to take my picture off of here again. So again, the green buttons. So this one at the top, that is previous. So as you move through AgPlan, you can click anywhere in the outline, or you can click the previous or the next button that is just to the right-hand side of the text entry box. And your work will save as you maneuver through the tool itself. I would recommend not using your browser's forward or back buttons because the information isn't going to save at that case. If you hit that red X button just above the previous and next buttons here, that will just close the plan that you're working on and take you back to the My Plans section of AgPlan. Again, your work will save as you go through. Now let's talk about the buttons just down below. So the pencil button, the very top one, is Edit Plan. So that's where we're at. We're editing our plan right now. The next one down looks like a little, like one of those text balloons. That's all of the comments. So we can come in here and we can actually see all of the comments that were entered for whatever section that we're in. So for example, here's the comment that we just entered, and you can see all of the pages, the sections that we were working in. That is all added here. So I could just click on business history here, for example, and then that would take me to the business history section that we were just looking at. I'm going to skip the print button in the middle and then go to the paperclip, which is attachments. So you can add anything that is a PDF here. So you can see that we've added several things: balance sheet, income statement, scorecard, map of the farm. So if you have, for example, licenses that you need to include for if you were sending this to a lender, you could actually attach them here. Balance sheets, income statements like we have in the example, but whatever you need to add that would help your business plan, you can add that here. It just has to be a PDF. So now I'm going to go to the print button. So again, you can add anybody as a reviewer. You can, and then you can give them either edit access rights or just read only access rights. But on this page, what we're actually doing is we're printing the plan. So we can either say business plan only or the business plan and comments. I'm only going to do the business plan in this case. I'm going to click view print plan. And then what this brings up is that this will actually bring up a Word or a PDF version. So I can click on PDF and then open that up, and we could ignore, we have a broken image there, but you can actually see that this is all of the sections that we were just working on. So if I click on, let's see, market trends or competitive advantage, for example, it takes me down to that section, and then here's all of the attachments. So you can see that we've added some attachments there. I'm going to click the red X here just to take me back to the My Plans page. So if you do want to add some reviewers, I'll show you where you can actually do that once it goes back to that page. And then it's just these reviewers that are right here. So if I click on that, we're going to add Mariah to this plan. So I just enter that email. If she did not have an account with AgPlan, it will send her an email inviting her to register, but she does. So I'm going to give comment and edit access rights and click add reviewer. And now she can go in and she can actually work on the plan or, edit it, whatever she needs to do with that. So the last thing that I will show you here before we leave AgPlan is right here, this developing your business plan. If I click on that, that will open up a new page that will take me to several videos where we're actually talking about how do you use AgPlan to create your business plan. It's a very much more in-depth version of what we're going through here today. So for example, if I were to want to go hear myself talk about the executive summary, I could go do that. I don't particularly want to go hear myself talk about that. So I could go hear Rachel and Katie talk about operations and production. So I just would click start watching and then the video would start playing. We are working on some more curriculum that would go along with it. So Mariah is one of the leads on that. So keep an eye out for that. Okay. So that's AgPlan. Let's jump over to Farm Answers. And I'll talk about Farm Answers real quick. So Farm Answers, we are at the Center for Farm Financial Management, we are the USDA's Beginning Farm and Rancher Development Program clearinghouse, which is a mouthful to say. What you need to know about that is we actually work with other beginning farmer funded programs and beginning farmer focused programs to develop this website called farmanswers.org, which is a website designed for beginning farmers to go find resources to either explore the farming dream, get the farm started, or improve the farming success. As we come to this site and just looking at the front page here, we have some featured resources. Over on the right-hand side, we have the recent additions that we've added in. And then if I scroll back up, the main, as we just look at the various sections across the top, it's multi-sectioned. So we can actually go into the library, find resources. We can find programs that are more well-suited for what we are doing. I'll look at the USDA assistance program here, and then the toolboxes. I'm going to start with the library here. And then as I go into the library, we have over, I think we're approaching 6,000 documents that we found since we've created the site. And it's taking a little bit long to load right now. So let's see if I can get it to go again. Like I said, nearly 6,000 documents. We've separated them into different topic areas. So business management, marketing, people, production, and then taxes and legal. And then there's subtopics underneath each of those. And then if I scroll down again, here's our featured resources. So if you want to learn about how to develop a financial statement, you can go watch that series of videos. But then down below, we actually tell you how many we have that are videos or that are apps, not necessarily phone apps, but so you can actually go and you can look at that. So I'm going to go under business management. I'm just going to click on business management. And these are all filters then underneath that. So there were, I don't remember, there were 1,305. That's how many documents are under business management. So then I can quickly filter this down, with whatever section I want to look at. So for example, we were talking about an ag plan and business planning. So I'm going to go into planning the farm. And once I click on that, that filters it down to 321. And then there's even more filters that we can choose from. I'm going to expand the business planning here, and I'm going to choose mission statement and goal setting. Now we're down to 18 items. So again, we've gone down quickly from 1,300 down to 18. The filters work just like a Best Buy or Amazon or anything like that. So you can actually go and filter that down to quickly find things that are relevant for what you're working on. In various other sections, if I were to look at production, for example, you could actually filter that, you could actually filter that down by crop. So if you were just doing strawberries, for example, you could actually narrow that down to just look at strawberries. In some places, we actually have where you can filter this down by locations, or even the commodity here. So if you were looking at beef, for example, you could actually filter that down to there. But I've already wanted to look at some various other things. I'm going to pretend that I'm in Hawaii. And so I filtered that down. Now I get one document. So I can click into here then. And then I can read about what the summary is. So again, if I'm like, yeah, okay, that wasn't what I wanted, that's fine. You can go back, or you can actually click on go to item, or just that little icon there. And then that will actually take you to that page. In some cases, we actually do have, let me actually just reset some of these filters. If I were to filter this down to video, for example, and I know this one's going to work. So if I click into this one, in some cases, we actually have the video embedded right in the page. So you don't have to leave the site at all. So you can actually look at that right there. Now, with all that said, with almost 6,000 resources, it can be pretty difficult to filter that down. So if I click on the Farm Answers logo in the upper right-hand corner, now I'm going to click on toolboxes. And toolboxes are just that. They're groupings of resources and tools that are around a specific topic. So, for example, under the business planning toolbox, I can click into here, and instead of the 1,300 documents that we had with when it came to just business planning or business management, we've gone through and we've selected what we think are maybe the 10 to 15 quote unquote best of the resources that are in Farm Answers. So you could actually go and you could look at AgPlan. So you could actually get to it right from here. We also have some related materials that you can get to. So those are available for a few other topics that are there. I think there's like 10 different topics. So those are good places to start whenever it comes to how do you get into and find the resources that you need. Now, let's go take a look at the programs button. So again, these are programs that are specific to beginning farmers and ranchers. But again, I can filter this down by various topics, or I can filter this down by audience. I'm going to filter this down by veterans. And then if I was in Texas, for example, and I could actually go read about the Battleground to Breaking Ground program. So I can click into that, and then I could actually go visit the website. I could contact them and see what they have going on. I'm going to go back to the Farm Answers homepage again. And now I'm going to click into the USDA assistance section, which is the newest section of Farm Answers. But this section is really designed to help you find USDA programs that are relevant to what you're trying to do. So, for example, if you wanted to go find something on loans, you could come in, you could filter this down to loans, and then you can look at the 9 that are here. So if you were interested in the farm ownership micro loan, you could learn more about it. You could actually go see the fact sheet that they have on microloans. So again, that's the USDA assistance section of Farm Answers. So I think I've touched on each of the aspects of Farm Answers that I wanted to touch on. Again, it's at farmanswers.org. We're working, I know Farmer Veteran Coalition is another group that has been part of the Beginning Farm and Rancher Development Program. So feel free. Both of these resources are completely free for you to go and utilize. And they're, I mean, we have to do reports each year. There's a lot of traction that goes, a lot of website hits and things like that happen at Farm Answers and AgPlan. But again, they're both free tools for you to go and utilize at any point. And hopefully you do get a chance to go play around with them. So at this point, are there any questions that are out there?
Curtis, I have one question regarding the business plan from earlier.
Sure. Yes.
So what's a good time for a beginning farmer to start it? Like, let's say they're just starting a farm. What would be a good time for them to actually start a business plan? Is it right when they begin? Is it after like have some sort of idea? Like, when should that person start?
That's a great question. So what I would actually say is when you have that idea, go ahead and start writing your business plan so that you have it written down somewhere. It doesn't have to be fully fleshed out or whatnot, but you could actually go in and create a new plan, and then just in the business description section, you could actually write down what your idea is. But if you just wanted to write that down on a piece of paper or in your calendar on your phone or whatnot, that's a great place to at least plant the seed of the idea. And then from there, you can start building it out. But I would start with actually just going in and creating a business plan, and start writing about it, because as you think about some of these things, new ideas come up. Mariah and I are working on another tool where we have meetings every 2-3 weeks, something like that. And there's always something that comes up that, oh, that would be really cool if we could do this. Or we have another part of it where it's like, you know what, maybe we could tweak it and it would come out better like this. That's what writing it down and getting into AgPlan, getting into a business plan does. It helps you figure out and kind of flesh out some of those ideas. And then you have kind of a record of it. You also then could just use one as maybe some ideas. And then once you actually have that business plan a little bit more fleshed out, you could create a new one in AgPlan. And then that's the one that you are actually going through and working on.
Okay. And then one question in the comments, under plan type, what is a value added activity?
Yeah, good question. So a value added activity. So let's say you're growing strawberries. And so I have an uncle and his daughter. They raise strawberries and tomatoes. Well, if they were just selling it to like a wholesale market or something like that, maybe they would just want to choose the commodity type plan. But if they are doing anything like making strawberry jam, so they're taking that product and they're converting it, or maybe they have some agritourism, where there's something where they're at quote unquote adding value to the product that is being sold. That's what a value added activity is. So again, if you're taking milk, making ice cream, that's a value add. If you're taking strawberries and turning it into jam, that's a value add. If you're marketing, I would also say that if you're marketing it in like 3 or 4 different ways, that would be a value add activity. So there's lots of ways that you could actually break that down. As I would probably start with the ag value added plan template, just because it has the most sections. And then you don't have to use all of the sections. You don't have to turn them off, but you could just go past them. So that's where I would start with.
Okay. And then another question, the toolbox and farm answers, does it include information regarding entering the wholesale market with large produce or grocery chains?
I don't think that we have a resource on that right now, but that is a great idea for us to go find something on. So there are some resources in Farm Answers where you can look into that, but I don't think that we had enough to maybe add a whole toolbox around that. But
Okay. And do you have anyone I can contact for people in Puerto Rico?
We do have not necessarily listed anywhere in AgPlan or Farm Answers, but we actually do have contacts in all 50 states and all of the territories. Anywhere that there's a land grant institution, we have some contacts. So we can provide that. Okay.
Another one. So financial management software or Syntag, is it available?
Is that the FinPack that I was referring to earlier? I know it says CENTAC.
Yeah.
But I'm not familiar with that software. But the software that I was talking about was FinPack. So it's FINPACK. It is available. There is a small cost associated with it from a producer standpoint. And Mariah just put the link in the chat. There is a small cost associated with it. And at the risk of hurting our sales, our salesman here will want to kill me for this one, but we are developing, and again, Mariah is one of the leads on this. We're developing a interview style of FinPack that will walk you through creating a balance sheet. So if that's something that you need, we've promised that that's coming out this fall. So Mariah's on the other side of my wall here, probably wanting to kick it, but that's coming. So if that's something that that you're interested in, keep an eye out for that.
Okay. And then let's see, next question. Is your plan format recognized by the USDA for grant purposes? Or like, is there an advantage to using it?
So what else? For grant purposes, so grant purposes get very specific. They're going to want you to talk about specific things. So from a overarching standpoint, I would say yes. As I think about some of the other grant programs that are out there that wants like a cash flow plan or something like that, if they're asking for a business plan, and quite honestly, I would start with AgPlan, and whatever sections they need, you can find places to fit into it. So while it's not necessarily writing specific to all of the sections that the USDA is asking for, it's pretty good, I would say.
Okay. Let's see, next question. How difficult is it to switch plan types? Like if someone wants to, they started with commodity and they switch over to value added, would they have to start over, or what would they have to do?
So, the way that I would, so technically, yes, you would have to create a new plan and then put all of that in. However, what I would do is I would actually, again, if I were to go back into, we were in Lakeshore Orchard, if you noticed where I was downloading the PDF under the print, there was the Word option. So you could actually just download this as a Word version and then copy and paste that back into any of the sections that you're working in. So while you would technically have to create a new plan in AgPlan, you wouldn't have to start over because all of your work is here. You could just copy and paste it over.
Okay. Let's see. They have one more that just showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have a database of farmers to have equipment available for barter for other products or services that owning them right now just isn't productive?
Not that I'm aware of, but where I would probably, you all are more familiar with your local, Facebook Marketplace or, something like that. Growing up, we didn't have Facebook Marketplace. So, we were, looking classified ads and the Farmer's Fast Line and a few things like that. But so I know that some of those are still around, but again, that's going to be pretty local. So I don't know if there's anything, I'm not familiar with anything like nationally.
Okay. I think that's all the questions for now. If anyone else has any more, feel free to put them in the chat. But you were getting close to the end of the webinar. Curtis, you got anything else to add?
No, like I said, we really appreciate the opportunity to come on and share with you AgPlan and Farm Answers. We really do believe in trying to help producers succeed, and we have lots of tools that are available. AgPlan and Farm Answers are just two of them. There's lots of other resources that we've put out there. So feel free, you can actually, and Mariah, maybe you can go ahead and put the CFFM website in the chat. So you can actually go and look at all of our tools. You can find FinPack there, find links to AgPlan, Ag Transitions, interpreting financial statements and measures, Farm Answers, all of those things. You can find all of that there. So, but again, thank you for having us on here. I think that there was, I think I saw another question.
Yes, there was. But
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
to see it.
Okay, so in the podcast, there was a program that we were talking about. It was the Virtual Farm Business Management Program. That is a program that we work with states around the country who are doing farm business management work. And what I mean by that is there's an instructor or an ag professional who will actually work with you one-on-one on creating financial statements. They'll use FinPack, they'll work with you on farm management topics, but with the centerpiece being balance sheets, income statements, cash flow plans. So that traditionally is done in an environment one-on-one. On the farm that I grew up on, we were part of the Illinois version of that program, where we would have someone who actually came out and met with us 4 times a year, and then we would end up working on taxes. Now, the Minnesota program does not do taxes through Minnesota State, but we are working with this group to develop that program in a virtual setting. So instead of having to go and find someone in your area, to take someone who maybe they work here in Minnesota, but they're an expert on dairy, and they could work with you on your dairy farm in your area, whether it's in Texas or California or wherever it is. And then ultimately then there is benchmarking that happens with that, which is available through Finbin, which is FINBIN. So that's what that program is. So like the comment said, it's for $100. The cost of that is actually significantly more, but we have some grant funds to actually pay for registration, and in this case, it's actually tuition for that program. So the sign up for that is currently closed. We have a wait list. So if you would want to be added on to that wait list, I don't have that link handy, so we'll find that and we'll send that out. That went with one of the emails I think that we sent out, Diego. But
yeah. All right. Let's see. My video's working this time.
And with I see one of the comments in the chat. AgPlan's a great plan to create your business plan, and worked well for their fellowship, Farmer Veteran Coalition fellowship submissions. So that's great to hear. And if you are thinking about applying for that fellowship in the future, I'm sure Diego and the rest of the team at Farmer Veteran Coalition would gladly see you use AgPlan.
Oh, please, yes. AgPlan is great and definitely helps out a lot with the business plan. But so camera's still not working well, so it feels weird talking with that one. But again, thank you to Curtis and Mariah for helping us do this. Thank you everyone for joining. Just do a quick outro. If you're not a member of FEC, please become one. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that. I will be sending a recording by the end of the week. So I need to edit it and all that, but it'll be available by the end of the week for everyone. I'll get in touch with everyone to ask questions. If you have any more questions or need to get in touch with Curtis or whoever over there, I will be putting my email in the chat. So send me an email if you have any more questions about us or FEC. And yeah, thank you for joining. Hope you have a great day. And thank you again, Curtis and Mariah. If you have anything else to say, go ahead.
Nope. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You have a good day.